Hello, it's me. This is a regular thing now, I guess. We do talking about books we like. Zach, say hi.
Hello.
Hello. This is wonderful. I have another theory for you today.
Well, what is this theory? Let me
Well, I'm not going to tell you
take a
because
look
you
at the
have to
stream.
guess. Before we do,
That is how the game works, isn't it?
yes. Before we do, I had a follow up to a previous one. Here, hold on. I'm gonna click. I'm gonna put it right here. I think. What do you think of this here? You remember we talked.
Lamentation equals black fire.
You remember we talked about that sword lamentation that went missing in King's Landing?
Yeah.
What do you think of who would really be good at finding a lost sword and not telling anybody is Varys. What do you think if Varys found that sword, re-hilted it so that it looks like Blackfire, and that fake Blackfire is the gift that Illyrio has for Aegon?
Ooh. That's entirely possible.
And then Longclaw is actually Blackfire. Because there's this whole thing about the Mummer's Dragon, which we all suppose is Aegon, right? The falsifying the trappings of power is like his whole deal. I think that would be really thematically appropriate, and I like it, and I wanted to talk about it.
I think the only real issue with that is that it'd be more of an archaeologist sort of thing to find Lamentation at this point, considering how long ago it went lost.
I mean, it's like 100 years, right? It could be hanging up on the wall. It could be hanging up on Tobamot's wall.
It's more than 100 years, I think, because the Dance of the Dragons was 131, and we're like 300 right now, so it's like 160-ish years ago. Yeah, that's still like doable. But
that's fine. I mean, somebody has it. It's somewhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right, and like the only pertinent player who I could think of trying to hunt down a Valyrian steel sword in that time is Varys. It's also entirely plausible that someone else took it and we just like literally haven't gotten any like real hints about it yet. It could just be someone else. Like realistically, it could be Longclaw, right? Longclaw could be Lamentation, because there's this whole thing about how House Mormont is really like is a really low house, is a really little house. How do they have like a nice Valyrian steel sword? It's possible that they managed to pick up Lamentation and just re-hilted it. All of these things are possible.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah, but this isn't...
I think Lamentation, like, would also be interesting if it showed up in the Duncan Egg novellas, because, like, the time span there works out pretty well, too.
Bro.
And it could be a Blood Raven thing as well.
That's pretty good, actually. You know who else is really good at finding hidden things? Blood Raven. Yeah. The timeline actually works out much better in that case. I wonder, does Duncan have a Valyrian steel sword? If he does, that could be Lamentation. Although if he does, we probably would have heard about it.
That's true. Although him getting one and then losing it at Summerhall track, like he gets a sword. He gets a Valyrian steel sword gifted from Blood Raven
from Uncle Brendan.
From Uncle Brendan, yeah. And then, like, the reason we haven't heard about it is because it was just Duncan's sword. We know, canonically, that he would not name a sword based on Sandor's rules about the people who do that.
Yeah, what do people say about people who name swords, Zach?
They say certain things.
They do. We'll come back to that. This is not the theory we're talking about today. Before we go into that one, we've been getting like a little bit of response on these videos, which is kind of neat.
We have comments, which was the last thing we expected.
Yeah, I expected this to be seen by 3 nerds. But it's been seen by a couple of 100 nerds, which is very neat. And that's awesome. A nerd or two among them was like, man, your mic setup sucks. And like, yeah, that's fair. Tell you what, you post down below that you want us to have better mics, and I will totally make a Patreon so you can donate for it. I have no issue with that. I will shill in a heartbeat to you or to the Bad Dragon Dildo Company.
Yes, we have yet to receive a check in the mail from Bad Dragon. We might switch to Blue Yeti. They have a very similar shape.
Got him. All right, Zach, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. I have a theory for you. While I'm typing out your first gimme clue, will you remind everybody at home what the rules of the game are?
So the rules of the game are: I can pull a card, onto which Tom will roll like a 20-sided die to get me a piece of the textual evidence that he has strung together to build this theory of his. And from there, I have to guess. If I guess anything correctly, that card auto gets pulled. If I remember anything from the books or in any other context that is part of the theory, and I say it or something close enough, that card is automatically pulled. Tom would say that I got a point, even though the points don't actually mean anything. It's very whose lines it anyway sort of regard. And that's really the bulk of the rules there.
And Zach, I have your first clue right here.
All right, let me tab over. Take a look.
Quote, "Tell Lord Tywin that winter is coming for him. The 20,000 Northerners are marching south to see if he really does shit gold." And that's from Robb Stark at the... Oh, gosh. I don't remember if that's at the end of the first book or the beginning of the second book. I think it's at the end of the first.
I would love this to be that Tywin has a Midas colon theory.
Midas colon! All right, there it is.
The only problem with that is that Tyrion says in the end, Tywin Lannister did not shit, which seems to be a pretty big blow to this theory's credibility that Tywin Lannister actually does shit gold.
Ding.
See, clearly I am dumb enough for this theory.
There you go. Oh, this is going to be a good one.
So let's talk about Tywin Lannister.
Yeah.
Because our theories are a lot of fun, and we talk about them in a very casual, cavalier way, because it's a great way to just analyze and appreciate good writing. And Tywin Lannister is a phenomenally written character.
Dude, he's so good.
He is the perfect villain without ever being villainous. He in the world of Westeros, he's a august, honorable man, and that shows you how messed up the world of Westeros is. That a man who does the things he has done can command so much respect and power. Sure, there are plenty of people who look at him poorly for fence sitting during the War of the Usurper, but that's about all the flack that he gets. Outside of the people who obviously are against him in the War of the Five Kings,
yeah.
A lot of people suck up to Tywin.
Dude, the only person who really openly criticizes him is Ned. He's the only person, and even he is not like Ned and Arya.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. And the biggest thing there, I think, is that we see Tyrion and Jaime brought up as examples of bad Lannisters. Cersei too, although Cersei I think deserves it. But Jaime and Tyrion are significantly better people than their father. If you could pick any of them as your neighbor, you would pick Tywin dead last.
What an interesting take that is. What an interesting take. Now hold the fucking phone here, bud.
Hold the fucking phone.
Hold the fucking phone. Slow your roll. Hold the fucking phone here, friend. I'm not confident that I agree with that. I think that I would much rather have Tywin than Cersei.
Oh, I meant the male line of that. Jaime, Tyrion, Tywin.
Yeah, agreed.
I was accepting Cersei is like obviously the worst.
Yeah, Cersei. Okay,
Tywin will not put a bunch of TNT in your basement, cause your entire house to explode.
Yeah. Yeah, this is fair. All right, granted. Well, Tyrion might. Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion would if you deserved it.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. That's fair.
So, but Tywin's a cruel, horrible person and like a straight up misogynist. But he's very good at like poking. Like your traditional writer would probably make a misogynist seem more like Tyrion, but Tyrion's a more complicated character than that. Tyrion, I don't think, despises women in any way, shape, or form. He's just jaded about the possibility that a woman could ever truly love him because he views himself as monstrous. He has really bad body image issues, really bad self-esteem issues, and is like the black sheep of his family. That makes him think he's unlovable, which leads to his complicated feelings towards love and romance, which we see a lot of. But Tywin just has no actual respect for women. He is probably like the most like horrible two-woman character besides like Ramsay that we get in the entire series. However, I should note that that's becoming more and more true. Cersei becoming like a self-hating woman in the later books.
This is very true. Cersei hates herself.
Yes,
she's she's the best character in the series.
In terms of like complexity and also like the text in the Cersei chapters is amazing because we get the like Cersei thinks she's this genius badass like version that's playing out in her head. And then the like reality that you get upon rereading it, like, oh, she's making terrible decisions. Dude, that Orion Waters guy is gonna run off with your boats, and you gave him his boats because he's hot.
And then he runs off with the boats,
and he's hot.
And Cersei thinks like, why does everyone do this to me?
As if she didn't walk right into it.
Yeah, that's a theme. That's a theme with everyone in King's Landing, right? They're like, why do these terrible things happen to me instead of why did I make these stupid choices?
I can't believe someone betrayed me in King's Landing of all places. Unheard of.
Okay, yeah. Look, I'm happy to talk about the Cersei plot in Feast and Dance like all day. I will do that.
Yes.
I will actually do that for 6 hours, but we'll have to schedule that for another time.
We will have to schedule that for another time. I'll have to give those a reread and find a theory in there. I know there's a lot of Tamlin Merryweather theories, so maybe that'd be one to pull into. But anyways, Tywin Lannister. Let's go through the major accomplishments of this man's life and see if I get close to ringing any bells. His father was considered like a loser. Nobody respected him. He was sort of like a pipsqueak lord in a lot of ways, which led to a not really rebellion, but sort of rebellion-esque sort of thing, where the Rains, who lived in Castamere, basically started to ignore his authority passively, and like that resistance was put out by Tywin in the most brutal fashion possible. He basically Castamere had a bunch of mines underneath it, and from my recollection was that he basically trapped them in their own mines, flooded the mines, and killed the whole like fucking family. They were like wiped out.
Like the most hardcore shit in the whole series.
And like that definitely solved the problem, but there are probably other ways he could have handled that. Still forceful, still showing that he's not somebody to mess with, which he had in like a feudal like sense, and even in like a like governmental sense, the right to do. Like if Arkansas all of a sudden just said, "Hey, we're gonna make sure all the federal laws no longer apply to us," you bet that the federal government would say, "All right, Arkansas, well, good luck not being connected to any federal systems. We'll shut off the highways, we'll shut off the power grid, and we'll see how long it takes you to come begging back." Like but nuking it would be a little uncouth.
Yeah, like go full march to the sea on everyone, on every man, woman, and child in Castamere.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually got 2 dings there, by the way. But I apologize. Please continue.
But yes, the thing that makes Tywin especially like brutal and scary there is he immediately went for the nuclear option. He immediately went for the "I'm going to kill your entire family" over this slight. But he did that to solidify, his reputation for what he inherited. They will not disrespect me, but he instead got that they will fear me, sort of thing. Don't get a lot of interactions between Tywin and the Lords of the Westerlands, but they don't seem to have that, from what we understand, the respect might not be, as there as much as it is for outside of Westerlands. Because the ones that we do are the Westerlings, who have no problem, or at least mild problems at best, having Robb Stark come and, fuck their daughter, which usually you don't do if you respect the other side of the war.
Yeah, usually usually you don't do that.
Yeah, now we can get into that was on purpose and love potion theory if we want to.
Bro, which full on, I'm 100% convinced. Full on. What?
I'm actually, there's no reason for the World of Ice and Fire to make that connection between the Westerling family and Maggie Frogs or Maggie the Frog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless that was true.
The story of the flippin' Woods Witch outside Lannisport, and going through all of this nonsense. I am 100% full on convinced by this theory.
I think there's a strong evidence for the love potion theory. Yeah. Okay. Let's think. So, what we've got here for the theory, well, let's actually, I'm getting dings just going through Tywin's life. So let's talk about where Tywin goes from here. He becomes Lord of the Westerlands, and we don't have a ton, I think, in between him being Lord of the Westerlands and his time as Hand of the King. But he was Hand of the King under Aerys II, and he was probably the best hand Aerys ever had in terms of being practical and honest with him, which was one of Tywin's better qualities. He was not full of shit, which, well, maybe he was when he died, because that was the implication. But he was not full of shit in a political sense.
Wait, say that again. What was that last bit?
Maybe he was full of shit when he died because it spewed out of him. In a political sense, he was honest with King Aerys for the most part. He told King Aerys this is realistically the outcome that's going to happen here, and
ding by the way.
Yeah, he gave Aerys solid advice for the most part. And Aerys just didn't want to listen to him because Aerys was the kind of person to not listen to his advisors when his advisors said things that he didn't want to have to think about. He was very bad in that regard. Aerys probably could have won the War of the Usurper if he had first of all, he would have just prevented it from happening, not burning some Starks alive. But he could have won if he had stuck with consistent leadership throughout, made better decisions, kept Rhaegar safe, a bunch of other things that would have been beneficial to the war effort. He grossly mismanaged the war, and the fact that he did not have Tywin around made that even worse. And of course, him having slighted Tywin over and over again made Tywin sit the war out and not join forces with the king, and then eventually, at the last minute, choose sides against him. But Tywin is also implied, I should note, that there was a Hand of the King who had a tunnel installed to a brothel in the Tower of the Hand. And there's some evidence that Tywin was that hand who had the tunnel to the brothel, which is fun considering how much he shames Tyrion for going to brothels and such. He has that exact same.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah.
That's not on my list, but that might fit. That might fit pretty darn well.
Put it on as an extra.
There we go. That's double ding. These are double bonus points.
when I discover something that adds to the theory that you hadn't considered,
yeah,
I agree.
No. He didn't have tunnels installed. He utilized tunnels because they were Maegor's tunnels.
Yes.
Because some nerd on the internet is going to call us out for that.
I think he might have just made the connection, realized the tunnel went underneath the brothel and fortuitously set up a hole into it. He didn't make the whole ass tunnel, correct?
We're gonna put that one down here. We'll put it down here. That's fine.
And that's not confirmed, but it's certainly heavily implied.
Yeah. It is implied to such a degree that I am putting it there.
Yeah, it's the it's like the last Green Seer being Blood Raven level implied.
Yeah,
I guess that is sort of outright confirmed. But
it's
up there.
Not literally. He says his name is Brynden. He never says my name is Brynden Rivers. It could just be some other guy.
It's true.
It could be Blackfish from the future.
Blackfish from the future. Time traveling Blackfish.
Time traveling Blackfish. Anybody?
That's where he escaped to after he escapes for everyone to his time machine.
Man, I'm kind of hungry. I could go for some time traveling Blackfish. Would you take some time traveling I'd have some time traveling Blackfish.
They're like Swedish fish, but
This podcast sponsored by Swedish Fish.
Don't do that what we do with our other sponsor. You're not going to get those back out.
I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do.
I'm not going to be responsible when somebody shows up to a hospital with a very interesting case and they say, Zach and Tom at the Interesting Nerd Club made me do this.
No, we didn't make you do it. We said that you could and you can. You shouldn't, but you can.
I hope that has nothing to do with the theory.
That was a fantastic sneeze in the background, by the way.
Sneeze in the background?
Was that a sneeze in your background or a sneeze in my background?
It's in your background, I think. Cats.
We'll fix it in post. We'll up the volume on that so that people we don't want people to be left out of this particular bit. We wouldn't want people to be lost.
Just randomly put sneeze sound effects in the video audio track, and then have them at 500 times volume.
You put it 90 seconds before that bit, so that it sounds like it was just really delayed on our part.
Yeah.
Yes. I heard it, but it didn't register. I'm like a slowpoke. It doesn't register for a minute and a half. None of this is related to Tywin Lannister.
No, well, maybe we haven't discovered the entirety of this theory yet. There could be a sneezing component. I just haven't unraveled.
The entirety.
The entirety.
Entirety.
The entirety.
There we go. These are the jokes. This is why you come.
This is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting us on a non-existent Patreon.
I love this game so much. Zach, would you like a card?
I would. Deal me a card.
Well,
no, hold on. Don't. Actually.
Okay,
don't
all right, I'm waiting.
I'm not done with the entire life story of Tywin Lannister,
of
which
course.
I feel like has more dings in it.
Of course.
So, we got up to Robert's Rebellion, the War of the Usurper, however you want to call it. Robert's Rebellion, Tywin sits in Casterly Rock the whole time and does nothing until all of a sudden his army shows up when King's Landing is basically surrounded. I can't really say encircled because of support, so they can get more supplies, although there's naval things going on as well that aren't great for the Targaryen cause. And things are about to get really spooky as Ned's men are getting close enough to assault King's Landing, which they fully intend to do. And Robert has men right there who could do it as well. It's going to be a spooky time, and on the day they're expecting those forces to show up, Tywin shows up instead. and knocks on the front door and says, "Hey, yo, Ares, my man, no hard feelings about all those times we fought when I was Hand of the King. I am here to defend the city from these rebellious attempted usurpers. So let me in, why don't you?" And the council was very split on this, but I believe it was Pycelle specifically who said, "No, you can trust Tywin. Dude seems cool." And Pycelle may have been in on the conspiracy, because the second the gates are open, the Lannister men destroy King's Landing, basically. Not literally destroy it, but it is a full pillaging. Civilians are dying. The city is a nightmare zone. The Rhaegar's wife Elia is murdered along with her children by Gregor Clegane.
No, we've established that both of her children are alive.
Well, yes, the two fake children that Varys put there are killed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought. I just want to be clear about what is and is not canon.
That's true. That is canon. So those children are killed, and this is where Ares II famously says, "Burn them all. I have wildfire hitting all around the city. I'm going to take everybody else down with me." And Jaime, not wanting to watch the city that he lives in and is protecting the people of, literally go down in flames, and also presumably not wanting to die himself, kills King Ares II. And then Tywin uses his Isaac and currently hold King's Landing as leverage in the political situation after the end of the war, which is where Cersei and Robert's marriage comes from, which sets the stage for the rest of the series. From there, Tywin mostly sits at Casterly Rock until things in King's Landing get to the point where it's just too bad, and the war is dragging everything apart. So Tywin does a lot of fighting with Robb Stark until he ends up in King's Landing to Tyrion of the position of Hand of the King, because he was really just, warming the seat for I hope this isn't part of the theory that warming the seat isn't a highly important pun here.
I do not have the word warming the seat anywhere on my list. However, if you want to come back and add that later, we can.
Toilet seat. That was not mentioned. There's a toilet seat warmth, but Anyways,
gilded chamber pots and all that.
Gilded chamber pots. Yes. Tyrion gets demoted basically right around the time that Joffrey's wedding to Margaery is happening. Joffrey is poisoned by 16 different people at once, and then during the successful poisoning, the other 15 people are like, "Wait a second, I didn't plan that." But during the successful poisoning, presumably by Littlefinger and Olenna Tyrell, Joffrey dies. Tyrion is blamed, and Tyrion goes on a trial, which is one of the best parts of the entire series. Decides that this trial ain't good enough for him. Gets a trial by combat, where Oberyn Martell fights on his behalf, which is not only one of the best scenes in the books, but is one of the standout scenes in the Bad Dragon show that I've probably rewatched that scene on its own like a couple dozen times. It's such a really good, well-shot scene.
Yeah, there is a 4-season-long streak of nothing but good scenes that ends with that scene.
No, because I think after that episode is Watchers on the Wall. Right after that. So I think
Watchers on the Wall is season 5.
No, Watchers on the Wall is season 4. I know this because I hate season 5.
Hold the phone here, bud. It might be season 6.
No, you're thinking of Hard Home is season 5 and Battle of the Bastards is season 6.
Season 4,
Watchers
episode 9. There it is. You're right. I retract.
What?
I retract. Come at me, you nerds. I'll fight every one of you.
Yeah. It's the Mountain and the Viper, then the Watchers on the Wall, then there's the Children, which is the end of season 4. of which I have some problems with that episode, but not enough to really complain about it. And like, I know some people don't like the Brienne Sandor fight, but I think it's fucking amazing. So I'm fine with that.
It's so fun, dude.
It is.
It's such a brutal fight.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't. You think of knights fighting in a like honorable and like classy sort of manner, and it's just two people wailing on each other. It's like brutal and looks like unpleasant the whole time. It's great.
It's so good. Whenever I think of Dunk and Brienne being related, I think of that scene from the show, because at the end of the first Dunk and Egg book, Dunk like is like absolutely getting his ass handed to him in the fight until he knocks Aeron off his horse, and has him like down in the mud. And down in the mud, like in that brutal like King's Landing underfoot fight, he has the upper hand.
Yes.
I think we danced pretty close to it. I'm gonna give you a ding here.
Okay.
We talked about Tyrion's trial, and I have on here one of my favorite quotes from Tyrion's trial. Hold on, let me make sure that I get it right here. Yeah. I wish I had enough poison for the whole lot of you.
I almost said that quote just because it's one of my favorites.
It's so
I
good,
almost
dude.
just said it because it's one of those iconic A Song of Ice and Fire like moments. Is Tyrion so fed up with how he's viewed by the how people like treat him out to be as a monster that he just sort of embraces it for a little bit there. He's like, you know what? I wish I was as bad as you made me out to be, because at least then I could watch you all suffer.
And dude,
sort of
like this is one of the parts of the show that I think is the biggest shame. That Tyrion continues to be like an upstanding guy after his trial. In the books, dance, he is an
asshole.
Dude, he is a sadistic, depressed, loathsome person who cares for very little other than vengeance. He reminds me of he's like an interesting foil to Theon, right? Theon, like when he went through everything he went through, all that was left was a hopeless shell. But Tyrion, when he went through everything he went through, all that was left was this ghost of vengeance, not dissimilar to what Stoneheart is.
He is around purely to be bitter about what happened to him, bitter about how he was treated all his life, bitter that he was lied to for so long, and to plot how he's going to hurt the people who hurt him.
Yeah.
Which is super unhealthy, and he takes it out on other people pretty consistently.
But man, is it fun to read.
Yes. And in the show, he's just like drunk and wacky.
Yeah, he's like
5 through 8.
Yeah, he's like drunk and slapstick for half a season, and then just like a good guy.
It's not great. That was one of my biggest beefs with season 5 when it happened. That and them conflating a bunch of storylines together. The Doran storyline being just bad. But
oh no.
Today's video sponsored by Bad Pussy.
Dang.
You want the good girl, but you need the bad pussy.
Zach, you were talking about something Tywin Lannister related, I believe.
That's correct. I was talking about Tywin as he appears in the books, because we got to Tyrion's trial was where we were at, and then from there Tywin brings in the Mountain, who's sort of the ultimate symbol of like Tywin's like style of rule. He brings in a man who would be like a monstrous horrible criminal under most other rulers in Westeros, who would have been like either, because of his royal blood and his heir to house, blackballed into like irrelevancy, or like Ned Stark probably would have had no problem putting this guy to death. But he is a horrifying, abusive person who Tywin gives all the things in the world to because he's useful to him. And he is reminded of his most heinous act that Tywin ordered him to do in his duel against Oberyn, which unfortunately ends with the Mountain winning, like Tyrion being sentenced to die. But Varys, however you want to pronounce it, says, "Hey, my boy Tyrion, how about you escape and don't die?" And Tyrion is super on board with that, so he escapes. Jaime, before this happens, tells him, "By the way, your wife Tysha was not actually a whore. Tywin just really didn't want to see you happy and in love, so he lied about that, and then I lied about that also. Yeah, it was a real bad time for everyone involved." And then that gets him into an all-off rage where he goes... not Tysha. Tysha's the... wait. Am I getting my name?
No, you got it. Tysha. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, Tysha.
Yeah, it's Tysha.
That's right, Tysha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tysha.
Yeah.
Tysha was, just a sweet woman who did happen to love you. And then he goes to Tywin, to the Hands quarters, where Shay is in bed, having just been with Tywin, murders Shay with the necklace of the Hand of the King, chokes her to death with it, and then finds his dad on the privy, and shoots him with a crossbow and kills him.
Correct.
And that is the Tywin story arc. I should note there's a fun theory about Tywin having potentially been poisoned when he's on the toilet, and that he was shitting his brains out almost literally because Oberyn had dined with him prior and could have easily slipped him a poison, which is implied many times Oberyn knows how to do.
This is true. We know he poisoned Gregor.
Yes. We know for a fact he poisons at least one person, and therefore has poison with him at King's Landing. But, Oberyn, doing sneaky shenanigans is part of his character. That's an established part of his lore.
That's like his charm.
Yeah, he's a little bit of everything. He's a good fighter, he's very charismatic, and he can have a stealthy side, too. So, from there...
Zach, I'm sorry to say that I don't think that there's any dings in any of these trees you're barking up.
That's unfortunate. I feel like I covered everything I could based on what I have.
I think we may have pulled all of the dings out of the life and times of Tywin Lannister.
So, let's talk about gold, maybe?
Anytime you want a card, you just let me know.
You know what? Yeah, deal me a card.
Mm. All right, I'm rolling. I've rolled. You got a 1. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. We got to change it back to... Oh, no. What the heck font was this? Was it this one? Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah. Yeah. There it is. Tywin Lannister has pale green eyes, flecked with gold.
Tywin Lannister has pale green eyes, flecked with gold.
Flecked with gold. I don't know how much that's going to help you.
Oh my god, I think I know what this theory is.
Would you like to solve the puzzle, Alex?
I can't
Pat?
say for sure.
Would you like to solve the puzzle, Patrick?
Hold on.
Would you like to solve the Drew, Trebek?
So let's talk about me a little bit in real life for a little bit here.
Okay.
I recently moved to Bucks County, Pennsylvania for work. It's an hour and a half away from New York City. I visit there all the time. And you also, spoilers about the real life of this person, have been in New York City a few times. You might be aware of the existence of Serendipity 3. Which has, I believe this is the place it's definitely the place with the world's most expensive milkshake. And I believe they also do an ice cream thing. And I believe one of the ingredients they have in some of their very, very expensive meals is flakes of gold.
Oh, yes. Edible gold leaf. I have heard of this ice cream.
Is this theory partially based on the idea? I'm not going swinging for the fences saying this is the whole ass theory. There might be more to it. But is this theory that Tywin Lannister eats gold?
No. No, that is some gold gilded tinfoil right there. No.
Like he flakes gold into his food to make it more expensive.
I like it.
That way he can say I had a glass of wine that cost me like 40 gold dragons, but really it was cheap ass wine. He just put 40 gold dragons in it.
I'm gonna go back to that. This is band shrift. Remember that when I come back to it, band shrift? Does Tywin eat gold? Question mark? We'll put we'll do this. We'll put it right here. Yeah. And now I'm gonna start highlighting things. I hadn't thought of that, but it is sure interesting. Does Tywin eat gold? I don't think so. I feel like one of his kids would have mentioned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he has pale green eyes. So let's talk about who else has green eyes. I believe the Crannogmen have green eyes, if I'm remembering correctly. Howland Reed being a famous Crannogman, as is Jojen and Mira, the Reed children.
Mm-hmm. They do. They do. They're not on my list, but you're definitely puttering around some that are.
But I believe green eyes is a first men sort of thing, and I think also did the Children of the Forest have green eyes, if I'm remembering correctly?
Hold the phone here for 1 second. Whoop, ding. Please keep talking.
Yeah, eye color is a big thing in Song of Ice and Fire. There's the famous purple eyes of the Targaryens, which other Valyrians may have had. It's hard to say. We don't have a lot of Valyrian ancestry outside of the Targaryens. Although House Valyrian has some, I believe. And the blue eyes of the White Walkers are notable, and that's something that transfers over to the Bad Dragon show, where after being given up to one of the others, one of Craster's sons has eyes glowing bright blue, and there's an implication that blue eyes has something to do with the others, which has some implications for House Stark and for some other characters as well. The children usually have golden green eyes, slitted like those of a cat, allowing us to see in dark passages.
A cat. Like a lion.
Like a lion. Oh my god. Tywin's a cat. And the Lannisters are all secretly cats. This makes a lot of sense.
No,
that
Zach,
that also
we
explains.
we can't reveal that this early in the theory.
This makes sense as to why the person that Joffrey sent to kill Bran is called a cat's paw.
Yes, meow.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought meow?
And Tommen has a strong kinship with cats as well.
Mm-hmm.
He has money cats, including Sir Pounce.
Yeah, Sir Pounce, one of the forerunner candidates for Azor Ahai.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just gonna do one of these. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop.
Okay. So there were children in the forest in that neck of the woods, like for a very long time before the first men came, before the Andals and the Rhoynar, the Valyrians. So the children in the forest must have made it down at least to the Isle of Faces, because there's a werewood down there, and the werewoods were a children thing.
Yes.
So we know that is further south than most of the Westerlands.
It is stated that it is stated in the World Book that there were children in the Westerlands.
Yes.
Yep.
So Tywin having some ancestry from the children of the forest is completely believable. If we ignore a lot of things, which we do in the series. So.
Just a couple.
So yeah, what was that?
We don't have to ignore that much.
That's true.
Just most of the things that happened before the start of the series.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
which we can do totally fine.
So this put a pin in this. This is the tinfoil. This is the tinfoily section over here. Okay, this is the tinfoily section. We got a couple more that are going to be added. We'll come back to those.
Okay.
So, do you want to
deal me another card? Yeah, deal me another card.
All right, I'm rolling. You got a 9. Yeah. The neck was flooded unsuccessfully in an attempt to use the hammer of the waters for a second time at Moat Cailin.
This goes perfectly with the Tywin is a cat theory, because the Rains also had a lion as their look. So they also could have been cat people. And cats hate getting wet.
They do. Very notably.
And it could have been the case that knowing that maybe every character in Game of Thrones is actually a cat. Maybe the entire story is told from the perspective of cats. And that's why you hear so much about people's hairs and eyes, because that's the most notable qualities of different cat breeds or types, I suppose.
Zach, I do want it on the record that the theory I'm pitching is a real theory. That I am committed to this. I think that there is textual evidence for it. All right, I'm not just memeing here.
That's fair.
In the same way that your membership theory wasn't just a meme, this is a solid 50% meme, but the rest I think is legit.
My membership theory was not a meme. I do believe Marwyn will lose his member, and Tormund very likely as well.
Yeah,
that happens.
We're gonna have to look back and see if there is foreshadowing for my main man Theon.
Yeah.
Because that'll sell it, right? That'll seal the deal on that theory.
Yes, exactly. If there's foreshadowing to him losing his member.
Oh,
then,
you know,
like,
I had a thought about that. There is a lot of like undead bear thought, right?
oh yeah.
I think it's,
undead torment.
well, no, regular Torment gets his lower body eaten by an undead bear. I think.
Oh,
I know. I don't like it,
Oh.
but I think right. That kind of tracks, right?
that does kind of
That
track.
kind of
Actually,
tracks.
yeah,
Yeah. Torment, husband to bears, gets eaten by a bear.
yeah.
I think it kind of tracks, Zach.
Grizzly man method.
Yeah.
Uh,
A grisly
yeah.
death.
A very grizzly death.
Zach, what does this have to do
Jokes,
with anything?
everyone. What was that?
What does this have to do with anything? What does any of
That's a
this?
good question.
What does any of this have to do with anything?
That's a phenomenal question. I'm actually not sure. Well, let me look at the. So the neck was flooded unsuccessfully in an attempt to use the Hammer of the Waters for a second time on Boat Caitlin.
Yes.
And the Hammer of the Waters was used in the shattering of the arm, right?
Correct. And that's a ding right there. Go right ahead.
Which made the Stepstones. The Stepstones don't get a lot of use in the books so far. That might change, especially if we're going full A Song of Ice and Fire is post-apocalyptic and like certain things. The geography is going to be an important part of the story, which is entirely possible. But the Stepstones, primarily in the story, are famous for the War of the Nine Penny Kings that took place there, where 9 mercenaries, including the last male member of the Blackfire family, fought to put a Blackfire on the throne of Westeros, and also to carve out different kingdoms for the other mercenary leaders, and basically have a whole chunk of the world ruled by them. And then there was the more recent, a new pirate king has emerged in the Stepstones, the Lord of Waters, who is Orain Waters, most likely, who Cersei gave the entire navy of the Iron Throne to, and then he proceeded to fuck off with it and become a pirate king, because that's just what he wanted to do with this life.
How do you know that that's
actually?
How do you know that's Orain Waters? I thought we established that was Helen Reed.
That's true. Well, Orain Waters is Helen.
It can be both. You're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to imply that it couldn't.
Helen Reed, who is also Sir Sadrich, and the High Septon, and Hodor, is also Orain Waters.
Yeah. Hold the door is actually referring to the door of one of the ships.
That's how he saved Ned at the Tower of the Joy.
Oh man, have you ever heard the theory?
We never hear anything about Ned having hands, and the Tower of Joy was an 88 climb.
So here's the thing, right?
Okay.
The Tower of Joy, it says in the first book, I believe, that it might not be in the first book. It says somewhere that Ned destroyed the Tower of Joy. He had it destroyed. How the hell did he do that? He and Howland were the only survivors.
Well, this goes into my theory.
Yeah, I know.
That there were more survivors.
Yeah. Can Ned do it on his own with little squirrely Howland Reed? I don't think so. Can he do it with the help of Arthur Dane? Maybe. Maybe he can.
Ned had the tower torn down to build the cairns for the 8 deceased. Yeah, tearing it apart brick by brick to make cairns for 8 people would be really hard with only 2 people.
Yeah.
But tearing it apart brick by brick with 10 people.
Yeah.
That's doable.
And then everybody else.
It's like
went
the reverse
into
of like an Amish barn building. Yeah.
and Amish barn raising, but raising spelled R-A-Z. That's a spelling joke for all my spelling nerds.
We should do a where in the world are the members of the Tower of Joy?
We should. Zach, I still don't like it because why does Ned have Dawn?
Why does Ned have Dawn?
Right, Ned gets Dawn at the end of Robert's Rebellion.
Yes, that's true. He gives it back to the house.
Yeah, he takes it back to House Dane, right? He takes it back to House Dane like years later.
Arthur Dane wanted to make sure it stayed with his family because ancestrally it's supposed to stay with his family. And he couldn't do that when he was going to join the Night's Watch.
Oh, and he couldn't take it with him because he didn't want anybody to know he was Arthur Dane.
Not only did he not want people to know he's Arthur Dane, but by going there, like when Jorah Mormont goes to the Wall, he leaves Longclaw with Jorah, and he only gets it back later when Jorah is disgraced and flees. He mails it back to his dad because if he were to die at the Wall, there's no way that sword's getting back to Jorah, who by right should own it.
Zach, I hate all of the alt Tower of Joy theories, but I gotta admit, Mance Rayder is Arthur Dane. I could get behind.
I was going for
you like Corin Halfhand. Yeah. I could roll with that. But see, the problem is that Arthur Dane is like a very famous knight.
Yeah.
And presumably at the end of Robert's Rebellion, a lot of people were sent to the Wall because a lot of people were there were a lot of traitors, and that's they were given the choice, death or the Wall. Somebody who went to the Wall had to recognize Arthur Dane.
Well, that's the interesting thing is we know Robert gave a ton of amnesty for the war.
That's true.
So it's entirely possible that not a lot of people actually ended up because he considered the people who were fighting for the crown to have done their duty. You were fighting for the crown. Technically, you were supposed to do that. Under the circumstances, I wish you hadn't, because I think usurping was the morally correct thing to do, but legally you were standing on solid ground, I have to admit. And then he pardoned, the Tyrells suffer basically no punishment. The Martells, other than what Tywin inflicts on them, suffer basically no punishment. And they, they were as Targaryen loyalists as it gets, and basically weren't punished for it.
This 9-minute tangent brought to you by the Bad Dragon Dildo Company.
Yes.
Zach, please talk to me about what we got going on here, about this theory, about what how does all this fit together, Zach? This is insane. What are you even talking about?
So the children of the forest have abilities to cause many great and wondrous and disastrous things to happen. They also might have helped Brandon the Builder build the wall. And they might have also created the Horn of Winter, which has the means to take down the wall. And have many other magical things as well.
Zach,
hold on a second.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Are you implying that the Hammer of Waters was used to destroy the Castamere? Is that an implication in this theory? That's totally set up.
Huh.
Does Tywin have the Hammer of the Waters?
I wasn't. But, huh. I'm gonna... Hold on. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna come back to that at the end. Because that is a wild sentence you just said. Does Tywin have the horn? Question mark?
Does he have the horn? Does he have the Hammer of Waters?
Have the hammer? Hammer? Question mark? Get stretched, please. We're gonna come back to that at the end, all right? We'll come back to that at the end. That hadn't occurred to me at all, but that is a layer of tinfoil that I didn't get to, but I like it. But no, that's not what I am going for. That's not what I'm going for. Zach, can I give you one that I... Can I give you one? Can I throw one at you here?
Please do.
Because this is one that I don't think realistically you could ever get because it's external to to A Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay, yeah.
I felt that this one was appropriate in the same way that I thought that the in our Sorella Greyjoy video, Sorella Dragonslayer, in the same way that I felt it was appropriate to include that little point about historically that lone figure who fells a dragon, I felt it appropriate to add in this one.
"13 layers is involved. A cleaning out of..."
Do you remember this story, Zach? Do you remember this story? It's one of my favorites in Greek mythology.
I remember the montage version in the Disney movie.
Do you remember how he does it? Do you remember how he cleans out the Augean stables?
No, I do not remember.
So the Augean, I think it's like the Augean cows or something like that. And they're magic cows, right? They're magic and they're like the size of rhinoceroses. And they create so much waste that Hercules cannot reasonably clean it all. He does this by redirecting a river into the stables, washing it away.
Oh, are you implying that the water that was put into the mines of House Rain and Casterly was sewage?
No, I am not. No, I am not, Zach. I am not implying that about Castamere. No.
Okay. Huh.
I am
I
am rather implying a thematic connection between those two things, and also sewage.
Yes. Huh.
So here's something interesting that we've missed so far. There is one piece of this that we have missed that I think ties it together. Would you like to try to puzzle it out, or would you like me to throw it at you?
Let me try and puzzle it out real quick.
Do it. Go right ahead.
Okay, so
let me know if you want a little hint. Let me know.
Cleaning out the Augean stables. And Hercules himself was half god.
He was half god. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's so good.
Yeah, he was a demigod. And I think... Hold on, what do we know about Tywin's mom? Let me get the wiki up.
I don't know. I should note that with the non-tinfoil crazy version of this theory, we'll get to the tinfoil crazy at the end, I am not implying that any member of the Lannister family is literally a child of the forest.
Ooh, that's interesting that she is House Marbrand, because their sigil is a flaming tree.
Ooh. By the way, Zach, if I was to give a category for this theory, I would say that the category is foreshadowing. That's the category this falls into. Yes.
Let's see. Well, let's talk about. I think we didn't talk about Tywin's funeral, where his body stank to high heaven and was nasty ass, like gross body the whole time.
Yes, we did discuss that briefly right over here. An awful fecal smell followed Tywin's body everywhere.
Give me the little hint.
The little hint is we are focusing a lot on Tywin, but there is the main thrust of this is not Tywin, it's Tyrion.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was thinking it could also be Cersei, because there's a lot of Cersei lined up with Tywin, but Tyrion's also very shaded by Tywin. So Tyrion does not get grayscale.
True.
When he is exposed to it. There's some theories that Tyrion Lannister is the Shrouded Lord, because he went missing in the place where the Shrouded Lord supposedly lives, and that's really where the theory starts and ends. But it's a fun theory. I guess the fact that Tyrion has a dream of the Shrouded Lord and wonders where his uncle went kind of sets that up nicely from like a writing standpoint. But as far as like evidence goes, we don't really have much to go off of.
Garyon Lannister is not on my list.
Interesting. So let's talk about Tyrion. Tyrion, as we said, goes off sails to Essos. He is on a boat that is, he translates the name roughly to Stinky Steward, which goes with the fun stink theory here.
Oh man, I didn't think about that at all. That isn't on my list, but it sure could be if we want to stretch for it.
Yeah, if you want to put that on there, you can say Tyrion is aboard a ship called the Stinky Steward.
We'll come back to that at the end too.
Yeah, he rides around with young Griff and John Connington. John Connington gets grayscale. There's Septa Lemore, who there's like 500 different theories on who she actually is, because everybody on that boat basically has a secret identity. Tyrion is currently in Marine, and there are several mercenary companies besieging Marine, and he's like keeping an eye on the battle that's about to break out there. He'll probably go back to Westeros with Daenerys. That's probably where his story is going.
I am inclined to agree wholeheartedly. Can we take any cues as to what Tyrion might do there from the Bad Dragon show?
He might help consolidate Daenerys' rule, get her army in order, and prepare for the launch off that leads them to Westeros.
True.
If we're taking cues from the Bad Dragon show.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to forgive me. I as little of the seasons past or as possible. So if it's something specific from that show, I'm not going to remember it.
But Zach, you failed to put inside of yourself so much Bad Dragon. There's so much Bad Dragon that isn't inside you right now.
You know that I could have another 4 seasons worth of Bad Dragon inside me.
It's like all those ads keep telling me 3.5, 4 extra seasons could be yours.
I'm like a 4 is fine, but like I know there's some people who want to take the full 8.
Yeah, but like that's just so much Bad Dragon.
That is a lot of Bad Dragon.
That's a lot
Thank
of
you
Bad
to our sponsor, Bad Dragon.
Yeah, special thanks to the Bad Dragon Company.
If we continue to grow an audience, we should legitimately just ask if it's sponsored.
I mean, I'll send them an email, sure.
Yeah, if we get a challenge to our audience, tell your friends about us, talk about us with other YouTubers who do Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones content. If we get up to 2,000 subscribers on this channel, I think it's entirely achievable. 2,000 subscribers on this specific channel, we will live stream us writing a letter asking Bad Dragon to sponsor us.
And thereafter, we will ask every one of you to tweet at Bad Dragon so that they have to pay attention to it. If they get 600 tweets in an hour, then what they have to respond to it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm very much on board for that. All right, that's the goal for you, audience, is
Right.
to get us 2,000 subscribers, and then we will make the meme reality.
Yeah, if you want the Bad Dragon Dildo Company involved in the A Song of Ice and Fire community, this is the way. I know that that's not something that you thought you wanted, but now we both know that you do.
Yes.
Anyway, Zach, would you like a card?
Please deal me the card you think will punch it for me.
Okay, all right.
Because you were confident I could do this in one card.
Yeah. Yeah. This one. Yeah, here we go.
Oh my god. Tyrion literally clean shit.
Get right on up there. There it is. I believe that's Tyrion to Varys. When I reached manhood, my father put me in charge of all the drains and cisterns of Casterly Rock.
One of the things I was going to mention about Tyrion, but I didn't, was his eyes. In the books, he has one green, one black eye.
Ding. Please continue.
And he's got some other, weird features, which led to the infamous D plus T theory, that Daenerys' fetus actually time travels back into Joanna Lannister's womb and becomes Tyrion.
Zach, I've been known to smoke a time-traveling fetus now and then.
Yeah.
I've been known to roll one up and smoke it.
Yes.
And other sentences that really don't make sense out of context. So Zach, that I forgot I didn't write this down, even though I probably should have. Varys responds to that with the phrase, quote, "a most highborn plumber."
The most highborn plumber, yes.
Yes.
So there's like a Hercules connection. Also, Tyrion is a very tiny plumber who wears red, like Mario.
And he throws fireballs because he's part Targaryen.
Yeah. No, he'll ride on a Yoshi. He has dreams of riding on a dragon. I believe one of the Mario games is a dream, and you might ride on a Yoshi in that one. Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2 takes place within a dream, but you don't ride on a Yoshi. You do fight Birdo.
It's like what Tyrion always says. Wahoo! Okie dokie! No, Zach, that's not what I'm looking for. That's a different theory. I'll give you this one because we were floating around it. Very rarely, the children will be born with moss, green, or red eyes. And those ones are the green seers.
Oh, and Tyrion, his dragon dreams is mentioned. Tyrion could be a green seer. Maybe his dragon dreams aren't just him fantasizing about flying on dragons. Maybe there's time traveling Tyrion.
Zach, that's occurred to me a number of times. What do you think? And I'm going to reveal one of the sects of this theory, which we've beat around the bush of a couple times. House Lannister is founded by Lan the Clever.
Lan the Clever.
Lan the Clever. Lan the Clever is this mythological figure who is said to have tricked the Casterlys out of their ownership of Casterly Rock. What if Lan the Clever was a child of the forest? And there is sort of latent child of the forest dreams in Tyrion. It's said that these children, these ones here,
Lan the Clever was a bastard born to one of the daughters of Garth Greenhand.
Yes, who is this other ancient mythological figure.
Who's has some Tyrell ancestry, but Garth Greenhand has a lot of things in common with the Children of the Forest as well.
He sure does. So these...
Because he literally makes land.
These children over here, the ones with moss green or red eyes, the special children, the Greenseer children, they are said to be much more physically weak. They are said to be physically... that this is a sign they have been chosen by the old gods. They are physically less capable than other children of the forest, but they are able to... they are wiser and more able and have better access to magic than other children of the forest. Tyrion Lannister, I can see some parallels there. Because he is this physically different Lannister. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is physically weaker. Like,
yes.
Jaime can kick people's asses.
Yeah, and all through
Cersei,
the entire...
she was able to push 3 children out of that body.
And through the entire
Tyrion.
series, right? Through the entire book series, Tyrion is complaining of how his legs hurt and how his arms hurt. He's in constant pain. In all of his chapters, he's in constant pain.
Yes.
I think that there's an interesting parallel there. And, well, let's set that aside for a moment, right? Let's set aside the literal interpretation that Tyrion or Tywin have child of the forest blood. If they are metaphorically related to the children of the forest, like if Tyrion is meant to be a thematic parallel to the children of the forest, then I think that if Tyrion and Tywin are supposed to be, then I think that this and this have an interesting connection. Tywin Lannister, the children of the forest, flooded the neck and the arm of Dorne. Tywin Lannister flooded Casterly.
Oh man, Tyrion could bring down the wall.
That's not what I'm looking for. Although that's an interesting point.
You'd also notably piss off the wall, which gets some more bathroom stuff.
All right, I got one more piece for you, Zach. You want one more piece?
Please do.
Okay, here you go. I think that this is the thing. This is the thing that's gonna tie it all together here. You ready? Shoot.
I see.
It is believed to resemble a lion in repose. Zach, it's not a castle. It's a mine.
It's a sphinx.
No, it's a mine.
It's a mine.
Zach. Whoop. It's a mine.
Olive drains and cisterns. It's a mine for poison?
No, it's a literal mine. It's a literal gold mine.
Yeah. Oh, yes, correct. It's literally a gold coin.
Okay. All right. You ready? You ready? Follow my thought
Okay.
process here, right?
Okay.
There is so much shit symbolism surrounding the Lannister family. Tyrion was put in charge of all of the drains and cisterns in Casterly Rock. Tywin flooded the mines of Castamere. I think that Tyrion is going to, in this incredible, vengeful act, I think he is going to plug up all of the entrances to Castamere and use his knowledge of the drainage systems to flood it and slaughter everyone inside.
Repeat that last part.
I think he's going to use his knowledge of the drainage systems to cause it to flood and kill everyone inside.
Oh my god. He is going to pull a... he's going to take... Yeah. He knows how the sewers work in Casterly Rock. He can cause everything to flood up or for the sewers to overflow and actually have... because it's right near water, have the water come in, push through the drainage system, and kill everyone in Casterly Rock.
Every single person in Casterly Rock.
And he does have that sort of, like, I will kill all of you energy.
He does.
He did wish he had enough poison for everyone in King's Landing.
He is a
murderous... And he
murderous...
hates Casterly Rock even more.
Yes! I think that Tyrion will... And I recall a related turn of phrase, I can't remember it now, but I think he is going to be the literal lord of shit. Tyrion Lannister, Lord of Casterly Rock, will be the lord of a stinking graveyard.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I'm on board with this theory.
It's
also like perfect George symbolism.
It is
literally built on hills of gold. Will be full of rotting corpses and shit by the time that winter arrives.
In this probably truly disgusting, like half chapter long sequence of the whatever the sewage system at Casterly Rock is. There's drains and cisterns in the rock, which means that there is a method of pumping water up to the top of the rock, and then presumably they use gravity to send it the rest of the way down. Tyrion breaks the top cistern, which causes the water that is normally supposed to flood in to flood in and stay, to flood in, start from the top and just drain all the way down. And if I was a betting man, I would say that Tyrion is going to be inside of Casterly Rock when that happens. I think he's going to do it himself.
Oh my god.
And and as everything is flooding, as he's walking through the halls of his family members, we are going to get this like somber chapter-long tour of Casterly Rock while the water slowly floods around him.
Because we've never been there. It's never appeared, yeah. So we'll get to see all the wonderful things that are in Casterly Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's destroyed by shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's some George R. Martin-esque writing there.
Right. So let me touch a couple of things that I think are thematically related, like this. I think is really thematically resonant, right? I think that both of these things are thematically resonant. These things down here. Now, this was an interesting one. You brought up this one, right? This one down here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that tracks, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tyrion. Hold on, where is it? In the Bad Dragon Show,
Yes.
Tyrion, serving Daenerys as her hand, develops a strategy to take Casterly Rock. Tyrion provides plans of the sewers, which Grey Worm uses to infiltrate the castle like Barristan Selmy did at Duskendale. I think that is a totally fine sequence. But then what do you do once you're in Casterly Rock? I think that they use the sewers to get in and then kill everyone inside.
Yeah. That actually makes perfect sense.
I got one more quote here for you. Entertain the crowd while I type out this last quote.
I like this theory a lot. It fits perfectly with how George R. R. Martin likes to do things. It is gross, but there's a contrast there. And George R. R. Martin loves a contrast between how things ought to be and how they are. How Casterly Rock is supposed to be this shining golden example of opulence and wealth, and us seeing it as it's slowly filled with sewage water and people are drowning and making it even more gross and disgusting and terrifying. Will be like perfect. That is exactly how George likes to write things.
So this quote says, "A fool more foolish than most had once jested that even Lord Tywin's shit was flecked with gold. Some say the man was still alive, deep in the bowels of Casterly Rock." The bowels of Casterly Rock.
The bowels of Casterly Rock. Oh my god, you're totally right. Also, like Tywin's corpse being buried down there and floating up to the top in a bowl of shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Imagine Tyrion, like, on this somber tour as he's, like, because the water starts at the top of the rock, like, following the water down as it's, like, flooding around him, eventually getting all the way to the bottom and finding his father's corpse down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Still interned at the bottom of Casterly Rock. Like walking through the halls of Casterly Rock, these halls that he hasn't seen since he was a child, seeing people running, screaming, trying to find ways out, taking this god-awful tour while all of the privies in Casterly Rock overflow around him in this scene that in a sitcom could be funny, but will be, like, body horror disgusting in the book.
Yeah, I love this. I love this theory a lot.
I think it's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is phenomenal.
What do we call this theory?
The Plumber Theory.
Ooh, that's pretty good, Zach. Because, like, viewers will not know, but during the technical difficulty break, Zach, what did you say? What was the words you said? You said
this better not be the shit theory.
Zach, it's the shit theory.
The shit theory.
Zach, this theory is shit. It's crap. It's dookie. It's not good.
Yeah. It's actually quite good, but however. It does involve a lot of shit.
It does.
That's very much.
It does. Zach, that's our show.
It is indeed.
I hope you have enjoyed this tale of walking through the god-awful, stinking bowels of Casterly Rock with me. It's been horrible to talk about, and it's going to be even worse to read.
I agree, but I also am sold on this theory now. I 100% am on board with it.
Thanks for watching.
This is great.
Thanks for watching, and special thanks to our next sponsor, that bidet company that's always on those podcasts.
Oh, I was going to say Nintendo for discovering Mario as a Song of Ice and Fire.
What?